What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Reverse 1999 reaction. Today we have Under the Paris Sky, as requested by quite a few people in the comments of the last video. I guess people really like when I hear boss music. I don't know what it is with the boss music. Maybe it's just because people see it as like the best that the game has to offer in that specific event or whatever, but it's consistent. I know this means nothing and is adding nothing to the video by me talking about this, but it's just something that I keep seeing every single time. It's like, boss theme, get to it. Okay, so without further ado, let's go! Obviously, I know that this is like the prelude in, but as per usual, I'm already feeling it. Oh, the voice was a very nice touch. Love a good pitch bend. Okay, and here we are getting into the battle. Okay, we're doing that cinematic Hans Zimmer Boom sound. More electronic stuff than I would have expected for that, too. It's working really well with the textures in here, though. There's something about the intensity of this one that's just grabbing my focus. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. Maybe it's just the way that it's mixed. Sounds a little bit more punchy than usual. It might be this. And this would be part of like a mix thing. But like the clacks, the claps. There's a lot of stuff layered in there for that sound. Still keeping those pitch bends in there too. There really is just something about the way that this one was handled. It almost makes it feel more intense than other boss themes I've heard from the game. I'm gonna have to figure out why that is. All right, so I don't have the time to like break down every single thing about this song today, but I do think I'm at least on the right track with why this song felt the way it did and why it hit the way it did. One of the main things is obviously that Hans Zimmer cinematic boom sound that is very like aggressive in general, but I think the main pressure of it comes from the transition from the prelude to the main battle theme, because a lot of that we were getting things like I think like an E minor, and there was definitely like a G in there and a C, you know, so like there's movement happening in that first part that's a lot more whole and not necessarily really contentious with itself in any way, shape, or form. It's a lot brighter and more hopeful, and just in general it feels better. It's almost like it's trying to kind of nudge you in the wrong direction and misdirect what your expectations of whatever this boss is gonna be, which is interesting because then it does that whole like and then it just moves entirely to a D flat minor, which is very different in essence to, assuming that it was like the E minor. I didn't get enough time to like really figure that out, but it definitely had these chords in there, something that's just more full, and then all of a sudden, and then that's just there, and it kind of bounces between that and the A flat, which are very dramatic chords, and they have a lot of pressure to them that sounds as such, and this entire thing is just kind of bouncing around that. So funny enough, in this cut, the one that you just saw, I played the scale and I was like, wait a minute, that is eerily close in ways to the other key, and I'm pretty sure that the first part of the song now is actually in D minor and not D flat minor. So we go from D minor in the prelude there to D flat minor, which is kind of a surprising shift, but also why they had to do such a weird like into that in order to make it work. So you have to adjust for a lot of notes to move them up into this. So for D minor, the scale is, I know I'm not doing fingering right, don't get at me if you're a pianist, I don't want to hear it, but D flat minor is, and you can see how different those scales are and why it makes such a big difference and why you have to adjust so aggressively like that song did. So maybe that's part of the reason why it hits so hard. The other part is definitely that like large cinematic beef that comes with changing it and going into this like heavy low range that just kind of appears seemingly out of nowhere, because we were floating with that vocal in the first part, and then the second part's like, Jesus Christ, where did all that come from? And for a boss coming out of a prelude into a main battle theme, that kind of fits the bill. And for the first song, we're just kind of going around the same thing with the scales. We're just doing the D minor scale that time. That's where all of the notes are landing, and it makes a lot of sense. But there's not nearly as much like chord specificity on that one. It's a little bit more light, so that's why I was like, maybe it's like the E minor, because you get the E minor and then the G in there, and then you get C, and those are very broad keys. They're kind of everywhere, and you don't really have a specific one that would appear anywhere. But if we're actually in the D minor scale, that makes sense to have that in there. So it's just a lot of white keys in these chords, and that's what allows this song to kind of feel the way it does. It's soft and it has a lot of white key movement, and when it jumps up, we're much more heavy on the black keys, which adds a lot more of that minor tonation, and things just get more intense, really. So this is mostly that, but I think a little part of it is definitely the mix for this one. It is very sharp on the top end, and I'm not entirely sure why they went that direction. There's not specifically a thing in this song where I'm like, ah, yes, that thinness made a huge difference in why they wanted that to be so clear. I think maybe that texture I was talking about definitely could be a function of it. It just feels strange that being the thing. But it also makes a lot of sense. If you're having these like claps and clacks, which I'm pretty sure is the level of layering they're going at here, not only do they have claps, like clapping sounds and samples, but I think they also have like rim clacks on like the edge of a large drum. I think all of that together is sandwiched into that super thin, super aggressive sound that just kind of smacks you in the face, and that being accented by a thinner mix up top just kind of works, you know? It adds a little bit of an extra bite, you know, like when you slap somebody and you get some skin on it and it like pulls a little bit. That's kind of what the song is doing. Weird analogy, but I'm sure just based on that, you know what I'm getting at. And this song feels like it has that. It has the essence of somebody getting slapped in like a firm, grippy sort of slap, like a lady who's just like pissed and done with her shit, you know, just a wha-pat. It's just, I don't know how else to explain this, but that's what the song is doing for me, and it's really fucking cool. I don't often hear songs that focus so much on the details of how to get that sort of a punchiness, it's usually more of like a kick, you know, like the low end tends to be a little bit more of the focus. And for this one, I think they focused more on the high end. So it's a unique sound in that way, and it sounds really cool. So that's really all I have to say on this one. It's just a beautiful song, and both of them are in their own ways. The first one being kind of deceptively light and loose, and then the second one being like, oh shit, now we're at war, is a very cool contrast. I've always enjoyed that. So really good songs here, and I guess that's about all I gotta say. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from Reverse 1999, by all means drop it in the comments below and I'll do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!